Day 4 of the NBA playoffs just wrapped. Let's talk about it. First up is this Cavaliers game. Now, I have to preface this by saying that I am a Cavaliers fan, so this might be a little biased, but it kind of seems like this game is completely the flip side of what we saw on the first day of the playoffs, where, Knicks controlled all the rebounds. Knicks just like completely like curb stomped the Cavs, and if it wasn't for Mitchell, we would have been down like 40. But this was like the Cavs hit back. Garland, after not being aggressive in that first game, had the bet. I mean, granted, he's only had 3 playoff games if you count, well, 4 if you count the play-in tournament. But he just had the best playoff game of his young NBA career. He had about 33, 34, a couple assists in there. He was the number one option tonight for the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell, he kind of played the second fiddle tonight, which is, a good thing. If you have at least someone in the backcourt cooking, that's a good thing for the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell distributed 12 assists tonight and scored a little over 20 points. So good for him, man. Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley were a lot more physical on the boards, getting a lot more rebounds. Um, at the beginning of this game, it kind of looked like the Knicks were picking up right where they left off, being real physical on the boards, making tough shots, and kind of dominating the Cavs. But something flipped, and I think it was just Garland being way more aggressive this game. The Twin Towers being a lot more physical on the boards tonight. And Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein were in foul trouble early, which made them kind of rotate, and it made it easier for the Cavs bigs to get boards. Another interesting thing is Okoro, who kind of is preached to be, to be put on Brunson, the icebox. He played 6 minutes, got 2 fouls in the first quarter. You're going to expect to see him later in the game, but he never came back in the game. Danny Green got his minutes, which I can't say is a bad thing because we won by like 30. So it's just interesting. Brunson really couldn't get going this game for anything. Shots that he would usually make, he just was not making them today, because I witnessed it firsthand. Just the difference. He had his bag is like this little turnaround, like step back thing that usually is pretty butter, but he had a really inefficient game. Julius Randle was pretty much a non-factor. Emmanuel quickly has been a non-factor so far this series. Uh, Mitchell Robinson has Mitchell Robinson really killed everyone on the boards killed it on the boards last game, but he wasn't really here this game except for that first quarter. The Cavs pretty much took control in the second quarter, and they really went up by 30 by halftime and never really looked back. One other thing to look out for is Evan Mobley. He hasn't really been great this series. His offense kind of plateaued to like sinkhole. So just watch out for him. Um, and you'll have to see what kind of adjustments Tom Thibodeau makes as the series heads back to New York. Alright, the other 4-5 matchup we had for today was this Clippers-Suns matchup. Um, Now, this Clippers-Suns matchup is interesting because Kevin Durant felt more integrated in this game than he did the first game. He got more touches and took a lot more shots. Devin Booker also stepped up a lot. He had 38 points, which is how many points Kawhi had last game altogether. So he stepped up. He really attacked this drop coverage they were talking about on like ESPN or no, TNT, on TNT where they were streaming it. Because Zubac, whenever they put him in whenever they did the pick and roll, Zubac would always do this drop coverage and Devin Booker was attacking it all night long, man. It was also a solid game for the big four of the Phoenix Suns all around. It was kind of a linear path. The first quarter was kind of all Ayton. Well, not all Ayton, but Ayton was feasting inside the early bits. And then it went over to Kevin Durant. He got his bit. And then by the third quarter, fourth quarter, it was Devin Booker. He was feasting. And then at the very end, in crunch time, it was Chris Paul. He had a couple clutch like turnaround jumpers and fadeaways he had. On the Clippers side, it felt like Kawhi kind of did his thing. He didn't have as many points as last time. It felt like he needed another star. Him and Russ were the only real ones that were pretty efficient, like bucket getters. They just were kind of outmatched in this game, and no one could defend Kawhi or could defend Booker and Durant. That wouldn't be as big of a problem if they had Paul George, but we don't even know if Paul George is coming back this series, which you hope it is, especially if it goes to 6 or 7. You hope you can get Paul George back. But that's really it. This is might be an underrated series for me. I really like this series. It probably would be like Warriors Kings series, this series, or the Cavs Knicks series. Those are probably my top 3 favorites right now. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't watch this one that much because the Cavs game started about halfway after, or not halfway, about half an hour after this one. So I just have a couple notes. But so Boston won this one again, which is kind of to be expected. I have the Celtics winning in 5, but Boston has a way of letting the Hawks just stick around for probably more than they should be allowed to stick around. Because I don't know, the Celtics kind of looked a little lethargic, a little tired, like they weren't playing their best basketball, and the Hawks kind of took advantage of that in the fourth quarter and had a little run going, but it never got too serious. But it kind of seemed like the Celtics were playing down to the Hawks and not like they never really blew them out completely. Um, Other than that, man, I don't know. Shout out to DeJounte Murray. So as I'm recording this, kind of unrelated, but Draymond Green was just suspended for Game 3 of the Warriors Sacramento series. So it's not really looking good for the Warriors, man. I'm gonna be honest. Even though I picked them, I'm not sure about that. Um, but anyway, leave a comment about anything we talked about in this video or any of the series, your hot takes, anything. I will reply to them, maybe even featured in a video. And I'll see you tomorrow for these playoff, what do you call them? Like playoff updates? Playoff thoughts? Yeah, playoff thoughts.